Hi, I'm Sandy, and welcome to another day in Life with Sandy. Well, good morning on this rainy Saturday morning. It is Saturday, March 25th, and I'm going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. I can get out this way too. I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyway, we're going to Kroger's. But first we're going to go to Crumble Cookies because Christy and Aaron came by yesterday, and Danny. And Danny was going to Crumble Cookies, and Christy had just come back from Crumble Cookies, and Jim was complaining that nobody got him a cookie. So I thought I'll surprise him with a cookie. Not that he needs a cookie, but. And we're going to attempt to see if the microphone is working, because I did charge it with the proper cord and the proper plug. I didn't use Jim's. I used the cord that I found. So we'll see if that works. If not, you'll be seeing me in my bedroom, or my she cave, because I'm not going to be going outside. It is raining. I have to pass the Starbucks to get to this silly old Crumble Cookies, but I am determined just to go right past it. I'm not I'm not going to be tempted. But anyway, we do have birthdays today. Today is Esther Hummelt, Hummelt. It's Esther's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Esther. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I'm glad that you have a good birthday today. But it's also Rachel Garvaglia's birthday. So, Rachel, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rachel. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. It's also Jackson's birthday, and Jackson is Susie Buey's grandson. So, Jackson, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jackson. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. I just realized I should turn my lights on. It's cloudy. There's no sun. But it's also Mary Ann Ellen Posey's birthday. So, Mary Ann, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mary Ann. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope all four of you have a great birthday today. It started raining really, I think about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was really coming down. Now it's just, it was pouring. Now it's just raining. But I don't mind a nice rainy day every once in a while. It kind of lifts my spirits, which is weird, I know. But that's just who I am. I love a rainy day. I love a dark rainy day. It's not dark enough to turn the lights on in the daytime. But I have high hopes for the rest of the day that it might just come to pass. We'll see. We'll just see. But I don't need to get a lot at Kroger's. I just have to pick up a few things. I need to get a gallon of milk, and I need to get some eggs. Oh, on my receipt the other day, I did find the eggs. I told you that the receipt was it needed to, like when they have that pink strip running through it to tell you it's time to change the tape. The eggs were on there, and they were $3.99, which I thought was a really good price for 18 eggs. So I didn't have to tell them that they didn't charge me for the eggs, because they did. And then let me turn my defrosters on, because it is my hot air going out. It's telling you that it's time. It's time, Sandy, to turn the defrosters on. Like I said, I don't have any plans for today. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I have a collab going up, my Ace in the Hole casserole, which I sponsored. I did, which I showed it to you the other day. I did a Mexican casserole. You know what? It tasted better the second day, but it looked worse on the second day when I reheated it. It just looked like, I don't even want to say it, but it did look, you know what I'm talking about. It just looked like barf. But it tasted so good. It tasted so much better. It reheats really nice, but it doesn't look as pretty, I guess is a better way of putting it. But I had that. So I got that coming up at 9 o'clock. and then obviously, church, and then at 2 o'clock is Recipes with Roy. He's doing a live. If you missed Kim's live yesterday at a Girl on Her Phone, you missed out on a good time. It was like over 2 hours. It just didn't seem like 2 hours. She just all of a sudden, she said, we've been talking for 2 hours. And I look at the clock and I go, oh my gosh, you're right. It's been 2 hours. It sure didn't feel like 2 hours. But like when you're talking with a good friend or, going somewhere with a good friend, you don't let time get in the way. You just, you enjoy the moment. And let me tell you, we enjoyed the moment. But anyway, so at 2 o'clock, I'm going to do Recipes with Roy's live. And then at 4 o'clock, I have my Zoom call for my family Zoom call. And then I took out of the freezer for tomorrow some leftover rigatoni that we had a couple weeks ago that I can't make for just 2 people. I just, when I was first married, even I couldn't, because when my mother taught me how to cook, it was for a family of 8. So that's how I know how to cook, for at least a family of 8. That's the minimum. I can cook for more, but I have a hard time cutting it back. I really do. But when I make spaghetti sauce, my family always teases me as like I should be in the Army because I could feed the whole mess hall because I make so much. I usually just freeze the sauce and then take the sauce out and do the noodles, but for some reason I overdid it with the noodles. And and a quick tip, I learned this. If I remember, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about when I get home. And I'll also show you, I did find my little keychain with the condom in it. I'll show you that too, because I remembered I still had it. And I don't use it anymore, but I still have it. But on a spaghetti ladle, like when you ladle the noodles out, and I'm sure everybody already knows this, like Sandy, you're late to the party because everybody knew this already. But there's a little hole on the slot that if you put the noodles inside of that, like spaghetti noodles, it'll tell you exactly one portion size, which I didn't know that. But if I remember, I'll show you that. So anyway, we are now here at the cookie place, which this is ridiculous how much they cost, but I know Jim loves them, so I am not going to be tempted. One cookie is 4 servings. That'll give you a clue. So I'll be back. Okay, hopefully this is still recording. We don't know. If you've never heard of crumble cookies, I got 4 of them for Jim because it was cheaper to buy 4 than just to buy 2. But they come in a pink box, which I think you're paying for. But let me show you the size of the cookie. That's the size of the cookie. It's a 4 serving cookie. So what I did was I also bought the cookie cutter. It was only $5, so I didn't think that was bad. The little crumble thing on there, so that you can cut the cookie into 4 pieces, so you don't feel like such a pig. And I will look up and see how much a cookie points it is, and I'll put it right here. So I got to turn you off for a minute while I turn the car back on. Well, maybe I won't lose you. Let's see. No, I guess I didn't lose you. Turn the lights on and turn the defrosters on. Make sure there's nobody in my way, and we will be on our way. Oh, there's a car coming. Well, he was pulling into that spot. He knew. Get out of Sandy's way because she's a crazy driver. Oh, and this kid next to me's got shorts on. Maybe he came from soccer practice. I'll give him that. Well, let's go this way. We're going to take the long way to get the short way out of here. It's very, very difficult to turn left out of this shopping center. But there's a back way through the back of the stores to get out, and then you can cross with the traffic light. So I always do that. It takes about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes longer, but has accidents on that corner there constantly. There's always somebody getting hurt. So I'm worth a couple more minutes. What am I going to do? When I get home, I'm going to sit in a chair. It's like, that's all I'm going to do. Maybe watch some TV, obviously watch some YouTube. I still can't find my book, so I really do think I left it at the hospital. It wasn't that good. I mean, I've read them before. You know, like they're so far into them now that it's just kind of, you know where the story's going type of thing. But I did tell you a story yesterday that I didn't share because the, okay, that stop sign was not for them. Oh, and neither was that one. You know, it was probably just a suggestion, I guess. But anyway, I was talking about when I was working at the church. I lived right next door to the church, and I was so involved in the church with all the fundraisers and that. One of the fundraisers that we did was Hostess cupcakes, because the kids, I would go over there at lunchtime, and I was shocked at how much money these kids always had. My kids had their allowance. That was it. And then they had to figure out what they wanted to do with their allowance. They had to give a quarter of their allowance in their envelope, their church envelope, because I wanted to teach them young, you know, about charity and all that stuff. But and that had to come out of their allowance. So if they wanted to earn extra money or anything, they could always earn extra money around the house doing stuff that wasn't part of their regular chores. But these little kids, oh my gosh, I was just amazed. But I would go over, and the Hostess truck, the ones that go to the stores that bring all the supplies, would come to my house and bring me a rack of like cupcakes and Twinkies and pies and ding dongs and all of that stuff. And it's kind of like Michigan roads. Ask Carrie at Weight Watchers with Carrie. When she came that one year, I told her, I said, be careful with our roads because they're awful. And she said, you know what? You were right. They are terrible. But anyway, so I had them come. We also sold Lay's potato chips. Not Lay's, Better Made potato chips, which is a Michigan potato chip. I don't know if they're all over, but I know they're from Michigan. And the truck would pull up, and I had like in my bedroom, I had like in my closet, I had like boxes of potato chips with, you know, potato chips and pretzels and, you know, all of that stuff. And the cupcakes, and then the candy guy would pull up, and I'd have candy. I know all the wrong things you're supposed to be selling to kids. But back in the 70s and 80s, I don't think that people were so worried about health as much as they are now. But I also was always helping the nuns if they had a problem with, you know, like a lot of times with the little ones that they'd go to the, you know, pee their pants or something like that. And so the nuns would call me, and I would come over, and I'd bring over some of Jimmy or Danny's clothes. And I had some spare clothes too that I got from the Goodwill just in case. And then I'd bring them home, the clothes home, not the kids, the clothes home, and wash them, and then bring them back so that they could change and have them, you know, before lunchtime, if they, you know, if they had their, or before they went home, whatever. But the nuns had asked me this one time if I would watch this one little girl that the mother was a single mother, and she was having some problems, and the church was going to pay her to pay a babysitter so that her child could go to school. They were letting the girl through some program that the church was sponsoring. The little girl didn't have to pay tuition. She went to St. Brendan's for free. And so then the mother was getting paid an allotment from the church to pay for a babysitter. And so the nuns asked me if I would watch this little girl because, you know, like it was just they would pay me from 6 in the morning until 3:15 in the afternoon. When the mother was working, the mother would pick her up. And then I only had to watch her, like, I got paid for, like, I didn't get paid the whole, unless it was you know, like a holy day or a vacation day or something. I didn't get paid for the whole day. I usually got paid from 6 to 8, and then, like, they paid me from 3 to 4, just in case the mother. So I got, like, 3 hours pay each week that they paid the mother to pay me. I don't know why they never paid me directly, but they would pay her. So the first day she dropped a little girl off at 6 o'clock, like they had said, and wasn't the most pleasant little girl. But in her defense, the life she was living, I could understand why she was always rebelling, because she was getting tossed from here to there. It was like, not in foster care, but like just a babysitter here, a babysitter there. You know, she never had a continuity in her life, other than her mother was like a screw-up. That was the only continuity that she had. And so I would feed her breakfast. She would come home at lunchtime because the kids came home for lunch, because I live right next door to the school, and I'd feed her lunch. And then when she got home from school, I always gave her a little snack. So the first couple days, the mother was pretty much on time. She would drop her off like at 6 o'clock. She never was after 6 o'clock. She always was at least by 6 o'clock. She was never 6:01. She was always 6 o'clock. But she never picked her up on time, because sometimes it would be she'd pick her up at 3:15, and then it got to be like 3:20, and then it got to be like 3:30, and like this, it was just slowly getting worse. And so I told the nuns, I said, you need to talk to her. I've told the mother that she needs to come and get her little girl because I got things I got to do with my kids, because they were involved in sports and things like that. And so they talked to the mother, and the mother apologized, blah blah blah. So anyway, the first week goes by, and she was supposed to pay me, and she didn't pay me. She says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot the money at home. Can I pay you next week?" And I thought she meant next week by Monday, but I guess she meant by the following Friday. So I said, that's fine. I mean, like, I wasn't really doing it for the money, but, if you're going to pay me to do something, I'm going to take the money for it, because the church is supplying it. It wasn't coming out of her pocket. So, anyway, so it comes to pass, and this little girl was a monster. She was awful. You just didn't ever want her around because she was terrible. She bit. She was a biter. She was always biting my kids. She was getting into things she wasn't supposed to get in. She was writing on the walls. She was, she was just awful. But I thought, no, I feel bad for the mother. I'm going to take care of this little girl. And so I really did my best to really take care of her. And the mother was just getting later and later. It was getting to be like dinner time, and this little girl was eating dinner with us. And the mother would always say, "Well, I got some overtime." And I go, "Well, I don't have a problem if you have overtime, but call me so I know what's going on, because you're kind of leaving me tied to the house. I can't go anywhere, thinking that you're going to come," because that was back in the day when they didn't have cell phones. And so she says, "Oh, I'm really sorry." Well, then the next week came along, and she was like, Monday came, she didn't pay me. So I thought, well, maybe we had a misunderstanding. Maybe she meant Friday. Like I said, I'm not doing it for the money. I'll just wait till Friday. And then, so Monday she didn't pick her up until like 7 o'clock. And then on Tuesday she didn't pick her up until 8 o'clock. And then Wednesday it was like 9 o'clock. And, and I kept saying, you can't be doing this to me. I can't be doing this. So on Thursday I told her, I went and talked to the nuns, and I told the nuns, I said, I'm really feeling the little girl, I can't handle her anymore. The mother's not helping me out at all, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to have to find somebody else to watch her next week. I'll finish this week out, but I'm not watching her next week. I just can't do it. And I told her, I said, then she doesn't pay me, so I don't know if you've given her the money for the babysitter and she's spending it on something else or what, but she didn't pay me last week. I'll see if she's going to pay me tomorrow. So the nun said, no, we appreciate it, blah, blah, we'll get somebody else, we'll see. And so Thursday, when she dropped her off at 5:30 in the morning, like I said, she never was later than 6. She was always like between 5:30 and 6. She dropped her off at 6, and I told her, I said, I just wanted to let you know that you need to pick her up today, because my boys have some doctor's appointments and dentist appointment, and I have to leave here no later than 3:30 to make the appointments on time. So you definitely have to be here on time. And I says, and just so you're aware, I did talk to the nuns today, and I told them that I cannot watch your daughter anymore starting next week. And so she said, okay, fine. And then she left, and the little girl must have heard me or something and kind of rebelled, I guess, because my kids played in the basement because we had like a play area in the basement. And then Jimmy comes up and she says, Sarah went downstairs and she's drained all the water out of the water heater. So what she did was a little nozzle, or you could do it. She drained all the water out of my water heater. My basement was flooded with water everywhere. And so I went down there, had to clean that up. She did something to the water heater that the church had to go and buy, because I was renting. The church had to go and buy me another water heater. And the mother never came that day. Never. I had the little girl overnight. The mother never showed up. It was just, and I thought, oh, I was trying to do a good deed. Now what did it get me? But she came Friday after school, because I got the little girl off to school. The mother came Friday after school, and I said, do you have my money? And she says, you gave short notice on your babysitting. I'm not paying you. So I didn't get anything. And then I lost the water heater, although the church paid for the water heater. But anyway, so, sometimes you try to do good, and sometimes it backfires on you, and that did. On Monday, the little girl was no longer in the school. She's moved on to somewhere else. So I felt bad. I really did feel bad. I mean, it wasn't the little girl's fault. The nuns should have called social services. I really believe that, but I guess that they, were trying to be Christian and not, give the mother a fighting chance. But anyway, so here we are at Kroger. Let's go Krogering, Krogering, Krogering. Well, I did check and the microphone did work. So obviously I need to charge it the proper way for it to work. So I felt good about that. But I did remember, this is the ladle, and see the little hole in here? If you put the spaghetti, the pasta noodles, spaghetti noodles through there, that's one serving, which I never knew, but I'm sure everybody else knew, but I didn't know. And this was the keychain, the infamous keychain that I talked about yesterday. And then when you flip it over, there you go. So I kind of when I first got there, I was just kind of swinging like this. And then I set it down on the counter on her desk. But I wouldn't recommend using that. I'm pretty sure that after, what, Jimmy would have been 6. That would have been in 1978. So that's 45 years. I think after 45 years, I think it's kind of lost. It kind of reminds me of, anybody ever watch The Summer of 42 when, what's his name, Ralph? Was it Ralphie? I know Ralphie's on Christmas Story. I forget what the character's name was. But anyway, he had a condom in his wallet that he was hoping that one day he would lose his virginity and he'd have that condom. And then when he went to use it, it was been in his wallet so long it was evaporated. But anyway, let me show. I couldn't figure out the points on the cookies because they're not listed in the Weight Watcher app. I know there's a way you can go in the app and figure it out by putting in all the different things in it, but I don't remember how to do that. But I thought you could just get a general gauge from the one cookie that was listed for 27 points. That was the least amount of calories compared to the other one. So I'm thinking each cookie is probably between 30 and 35 points. But I didn't want to put an exact number because I wasn't sure. So let me show you what I had to eat and tell you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay, we're going to have a hearty breakfast this morning. Some Kodiak pancakes, bacon, banana, strawberries, and egg, and some syrup and tea. Today is Saturday, March 25th. My quote is, never forget how important you are to your friends and family. For brunch, we're having Kodiak pancakes. It's a half a cup of dry mix, sugar-free syrup, 4 slices of center-cut bacon, and some strawberries, an egg, tea, and a banana. It's late. Okay, for dinner, we're going to have a bowl of Weight Watchers chili, sandwich with avocado, ham, and cheese, and a nice tea.